Peace, peace. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you. Shalom, Hotep. Assalamu Allah. Peace to the gods, peace to the goddesses. I'm your brother in the struggle for peace, truth, freedom, justice, and equality. Brother Minister Alif Allah. Beloved, I would like to share with you today a brief chapter from the Holy Message to the Black Man. Yes, you heard me correctly. The holy message. You think you got a holy Bible? You think you got a holy Torah, a holy Quran? I have a holy message to the black man in America by Messenger Elijah Muhammad. Okay, this is page 200. Well, technically it's going to be a page and a half, starting on page 294 and ending on page 296, which was published in 1965, for those of you that have your Message to the Black Man's in America. I'll just read through this real briefly. The title is Regrets of the Doubters. And on the day when the wrongdoer will bite his hands, saying, would that I had taken away with the messenger. Holy Quran, chapter 25, verse number 27. According to the histories of the prophets of the past, all of their rejected enemies and mockers of the people had this same regret. When the truth of the message that these prophets delivered was made manifest, and the disbelievers hated themselves for rejecting those warners and prophets of old. The people of Noah showed regret when they saw the flood coming upon them. The people of Sodom and Gomorrah regretted their ignorant acts of disbelieving the truth of Abraham and Lot, and wish that they had followed Lot out of the city, and that they had believed before the fire came, so that their cities and their lives would not have been destroyed. It was also the regret of Pharaoh and his people for not believing the warning that Moses brought to them from Allah. When these rejectors of the prophets saw their doom approaching, they said, as the disbelievers said in the 27th verse, that they wish they had followed the prophet. And so it will be, according to the Bible and Quran, with those whom this particular 25th chapter refers to, who reject the last one in the time we are now living in, the resurrection and the judgment. Those of my people and the weak Orthodox Muslims who reject the plain truth and warning that Allah has revealed to me and that I am teaching, to fly to Allah and his true religion of entire submission and submit to his will, do so because of their love for the enemies of Allah, his prophets, and his religion, Islam. They reject this truth to me, the bearer of this truth. They love the wealth and riches of this people who love not God, the giver of the wealth and riches that they have been so abundantly blessed with. They wish to remain and enjoy the wealth with these people, as well as with intermarriage and their sport and play. They will say what the formal rejectors said when they see the chastisement of Allah coming upon them and all of their wickedness, evilness, and murder. The so-called Negroes of America will also wish they had followed me to Allah. The biting of their hands, as mentioned in this verse, shows intense grief for their mistake of accepting the false friendship of this evil and murderous race. The white American citizens and the Negroes who are today preaching friendship and intermarriage with their 400-year-old enemies will say these same words. Oh, woe is me. Would that I had not taken such a one for a friend. 28th verse. And they will confess that certainly he leads me astray from the messenger after he had come to me with clear warning and with plain truth, 29th verse, and will admit that the devil's promise were all false, and he only deceived them in the words given in the same 29th verse. And the devil ever deserts man. What should we set our hearts and minds on today? Finding the right path and walking therein to our God, Allah, and his religion, Islam, that he may make a way for us on some of this earth that we can call our own and deliver us from our open enemies, our deceivers, and from evil and filthy doings. The God of Islam demands us to forsake our enemies and their names and religion, and all that goes with them, and to completely submit to him. He, Allah, has said to me that he will set us in heaven at once. Allah's promise is ever true. He fails not in his promise. But this race of devils will promise you and will fail to fulfill it, especially if it is a promise of good. I beg you, as a brother and sister of mine, fly to Allah. For the days of the resurrection are not coming. They are here now, and the dead are rising as it is written. Let us repeat this prayer. O Allah, guide me among those whom thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom thou hast preserved, and befriended, and bless me in whatever thou doest. Grant me and deliver me from the evils of what thou hast judged. Surely thou judgest, and none can judge against thee, and he whom thou befriendest is not disgraced. Beloved, you don't want to be a rejecter and be amongst those that be like, woe is me, and biting your hand. Why would you bite your hand? Your hand is symbolic to your works. Your attraction to the devil's world makes you think that you have something better, something more glorious. You think that there's salvation with your mystery gods, with your idols, the idols of money and cars and sex and parties and all the fancy luxuries of America. But you seem to forget that great nations have risen and fallen in the past. All of the riches of Babylon collapsed from within. All of the wealth and splendor of ancient Kemet, Egypt, collapsed from within. The splendor of Rome and Greece is gone. Don't think that just because America has money and technology and she has Trump in the White House making all these promises of making America great again. America was never great. Many seem to forget that America was founded by colonialism, imperialism. The black and red people that were here were stripped of this land. It was forcibly taken. It was taken through disease and technology and lies and war and cunning. And once they did that in the beginning, there never was a let-up or cessation of oppression and tyranny amongst the native original people. Black people were put in the holds of slave ships and forced into the wilderness of North America to build this nation up. That's how America got so rich so quick. But somewhere along the way, because they needed to preserve their union and they didn't want to have two different presidents, one in the South and one in the North, because they knew the Bible taught if Satan cast out Satan, how can his kingdom stand? So to preserve the union, Abraham Lincoln, he came and signed the Declaration of Independence for his people, but he only signed a pardon or parole for the so-called Negroes. What do we mean? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad explained to us in the Fall of America, Abraham Lincoln did not free us. He had no intention of ever freeing us. They taught us that in school. See, when we go to school and they be like, oh, the Emancipation Proclamation. They're not explaining to us what is an emancipation. And emancipation is not freedom. Emancipation means to emancipate, to let go. Meaning that they wanted to let us go, but they was like, oh, well, we can't send them back to Africa. We definitely not going to cut up the country and give them some land to call their own like we did the Native American Indians and put them on reservations. So what did they do? They deprived us of reparations. They deprived us of homeland. They deprived us of a flag of our own. They deprived us of speaking our own native tongue. They deprived us of worshiping our own gods. They tricked us by separating and segregating black people, and they had black water fountains and white water fountains. They had black bathrooms and white bathrooms. You had to come in from the back if you was a Negro. If you went to the movies, you paid the same price for a ticket, but you had to go upstairs in the balcony. And we thought that if we could get closer to those that kidnapped, raped, robbed, and murdered us, somehow we would be better off because we would be like the white man. So many black men wanted to be just like the white man. Many black women wanted to be just like the white woman. We wanted to live like them and have a white house with a white picket fence and a white little poodle. And many black men wanted to have a white wife. And many black women wanted to have a white husband because they represented power. They represented intelligence. They was the standard of beauty and strength. And they were the founding fathers, you see? But we didn't realize that before they disrupted our civilization, when we was living in the East, when we were living amongst ourselves, we had our own institutions. We had our own educational systems. We had our own culture. We had our own spiritual systems. We had our own economic system. We had our own social system that strengthened our families, that provided for all. But we think that is something better. We always look next door and be like, the grass is greener. See, the white man's ice is colder. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says that those that believe that, they're going to bite their hands. They're going to bite their hands and be like, woe is me. I should have stuck with the messenger's message in this age of mess. Remember, you have been warned. The struggle continues. Assalamu alaikum. Peace to the gods. Peace to the goddesses.